Hello, this is Tonetta, your relationship coach at Speak Your Truth. I want to say hello to you all and welcome to this video. Of course, Speak Your Truth is where I help educate, inspire, and empower you to speak your truth and be who you are within your relationships. And this particular video is talking about libidos, having different libidos, mix, match libidos with your partner, and those kind of things. We all know that, of course, at certain points in time, we all will have, especially if you're married or you're in a committed relationship, that you'll always have, not always, but a lot of times, you'll have libidos or sex drives that's totally different from your partner. And you have to, of course, learn how to make things work. And like I say all the time, it's all about communication, y'all. It's all about that communication that you have that's open, honest, and vulnerable. And, of course, letting your partner know and expressing your needs. We just can't sit here and sit in silence and not say anything when the sex isn't happening to our delights. I guess I put it that way. Like I said, we definitely have to talk to our partners and figure out what we can do and what ways we can do things and what ways we can, of course, help fill each other's needs. I guess I put it that way. So, like I said, that's what this video is focused on. And I do want to say, we all know that when we're dealing with different sex drives in people, they can come from a lot of different things, y'all. It's not just because your partner's on her period or because your partner has a headache or not feeling well. And that could be as well. I'm not saying I'm not discounting any of that. But just keep in mind when it comes to different sex drives and things like that, and our libidos, as we age, of course, they will, of course, change, more than likely change. For some people, it may increase, and for some people, it may decrease or be none really, sexless, I guess I put it that way. So like I said, that they can definitely change throughout our teens, throughout our 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, and on up, y'all. Like I said, it's definitely going to be some changes in there somewhere, I guess I put it that way. And just to go over a few things, just to let you all know, kind of, it's not just somebody just doesn't want to have sex with you all the time, or it's not just your partner just is being mean and want to keep the pussy from you and all this kind of stuff and all these kind of things. That's usually not the case. It's usually other underlying reasons why that is the case, why they are having a low sex drive and those kind of things. And some of the situations cannot be helped. Like I said, you just have to figure out other ways. I'm going to talk to you about some of those ways in this video, but you have to figure out other ways that you all can, of course, come together, talk together, and figure out how you all are going to do things. For one, of course, a sex drive can be affected by health issues. We all know that a lot of folks have health issues, diabetes, high blood pressure, all these types of things, overweight, I guess obesity, things like that as well. It can come from medications that you're taking, childbirth, stress and fatigue, relationship issues, cultural background, and upbringing. We know that all those things can affect the way a person views sex and has sex. So keep that in mind, y'all. When it comes to you and your partner having a difference in sex drive and libidos. The first thing I would definitely tell you all is to know your sex number. They have this thing called a sex number, if you all didn't know. It ranges from 1 to 10, of course. 1 meaning that sex is not even anything that they want in the relationship at this point. And 10, of course, meaning that they want to have sex all the time, every day, whatever that drive is, I guess, for that particular person. But like I said, you definitely want to make sure that you know your sex number and know know the type of sex that you want and that you like. If you're a person that likes BDSM or kinky sex, or you have all these lifestyles that you want to do, like swinging and all these kind of things, but your partner is more traditional, just one missionary or doggy style, and that's it. Like I said, you all are going to have some issues in your relationship when it comes to sex in the bedroom and all those types of things. So you have to kind of make sure that if you're still dating at this time, making sure that you're, of course, getting with the partner that, of course, has a similar sex drive to you and a sex, I guess, kink and all that kind of stuff to you, open mind, that kind of thing. But if you're already in a committed relationship, just keep in mind, you both can still, of course, talk about these things as well to make sure that you, of course, are getting on the same page, to, of course, trying different things. Hopefully you're with the partner that's able to and want to, of course, try different things with you, I guess I put it that way, especially if the sex, of course, is low and you have a high libido, you have a high sex drive, and they don't barely have any. Like I said, you all are definitely going to have to come to some type of negotiation, some type of something in your relationship in order to get things flowing forward and get both of your needs met. Just keep that in mind, and I'll talk about that, like I said, further on in the video. But definitely, number one is knowing that sex number. You and your partner, of course, this is something that you all, like I said, have to communicate about. You just can't know your sex number. Your partner has no idea what's going on. You both have to sit your butts down and talk about your sex number. Talk about how much you want sex, whether you want to sign a number or not. That's not the point. The point of this is that you all are both sitting down talking and having that conversation about how much you like to have sex or don't like to have sex. what's going on, whether you think it's with your health, or whether you think it's with stress or something that's causing your low sex drive, or whether it's just hormonal. That can occur as well. It doesn't have to be any relation excuse me, health issues. Hormones, of course, can drop and that kind of thing, especially when you're getting to the menopausal, I guess like 40 and up and that kind of thing for women and men. Like I said, your hormones can affect the amount of sex that you desire, the amount of sex that you want. So keep that in mind, y'all. But like I said, knowing this number is definitely, or knowing what your frequency is definitely important, so that you all have to talk about that. This shouldn't be a conversation that's, of course, you all are fighting over. I hope that it's not. If so, please consult a person like myself, a coach, or if you're looking for a relationship therapist, counselor, that kind of thing, make sure that you consult me so I can, of course, sit down with you and we can, of course, start talking about these things and figuring out what's going on between you two. I don't want you two arguing and fighting over sex and that kind of thing. I have been there in my past relationship, actually, so I know how that feels, y'all. But like I said, knowing that number and that frequency, the type of sex you want to have, the kinkiness or traditional sex, that is definitely important. Also, we all know that, of course, like I said, when you're dating, if you're still in the dating phase, how frustrating it is to, of course, develop an emotional relationship with somebody, but then, of course, to later find out that the sex is you're just incompatible. Like I said, sex just should be one of those things that you discuss when you're dating early on, so that you won't have any kind of surprises later on that, oh my God, they only want to have sex with me, they want to have threesomes, or they want to have a poly relationship or whatever it is. Make sure that y'all are discussing this at least 5 or 6 days in, I guess I put it that way, so you won't be caught off guard and too emotional attached to this person, and you're like, oh my God, I love this person, but they don't want to have sex like that, so I'm going to stay with them anyway. If you're going to stay with them, just realize that if you want sex a certain way, you're going to be unhappy, I guess I put it that way, in that relationship eventually. So keep that in mind, y'all. Again, this can create behaviors that when you're having different sex drives and that kind of thing, this definitely can create behaviors in both people or one person that, of course, is one of the following. Number one, constantly pushing for more sex, and of course trying to force your partner into sex and that kind of thing as well, and of course getting upset, arguing with the partners, especially if they're not having sex with you. That can definitely create issues. And of course, like I said, those are the kind of behaviors that these kind of things speak to when you're not, of course, communicating with your partner on what you are wanting. Number two, taking the lack of sexual, interest from your partner as being that you, I guess, personally, saying that your partner doesn't want to have sex with you because you don't want to do this in the bedroom, or because they think you don't look good in the bedroom, or whatever it is. Because like I said, when you're definitely having those mixed match sex drives, like I said, you can definitely take it personal and thinking your partner does not love you or does not want to connect with you in that kind of way. Number three, then it can, of course, we all know that the high levels of infidelity and people cheating on each other and that kind of thing. We all know that when folks are not sexually satisfied in their relationship, some of them can go looking elsewhere for that sexual satisfaction. And like I said, we don't want any of those things. I don't want any of those things going on in the relationship, but I understand that people do not communicate well. That's why I'm talking to y'all in this particular video about that, because I know people do not communicate well when it comes to sex for all types of reasons. So like I said, we definitely have to make sure that communication is on point and that you all are talking about things so we'll not get to any of these issues. And if you're already there, like I said, hopefully some of the things I talk about a little bit later on can, of course, help you all. And like I said, if you're definitely already in the relationship, you are all committed, that kind of thing, and you're looking to stay together, make sure that you're talking about the frequency, how much you all want to have sex. You want daily, weekly, monthly, whatever the case may be, and what type of sex you all are wanting to have. And like I said, definitely, that's something that you definitely have to be vocal about and letting your partner know what's going on. If you're one that has a high sex drive, you're always wondering why they have a low sex drive, then talk about it. You just can't sit there and let that stuff just simmer and sweep it up under the carpet and expect for things to change when y'all haven't talked about it. Talk about the stuff. And like I said, if you have a low sex drive, you know that your partner's a high sex drive number or have a high sex drive. Make sure that your partner understands that you have a low sex drive and sex isn't anything that you want at this time. You have to let them know that. Let them know it's not about them, it's about you. You're not the one that's wanting to have sex. And not blaming your partner, I don't have sex, or you don't eat me out, or you don't suck my penis, and all this kind of stuff. Make sure that you're keeping it centered to yourself as to why you don't have this kind of sex drive that your partner is desiring, I guess I put it that way, and why you don't want to have sex, or why your sex drive is too high. Let your partner know it's not just that you're just a sexual animal and you have a sex addiction. Let them know that sex, of course, is something that you love to do. You love to feel the orgasms, or you love to connect with your partner in that way. Some folks, that is a need of theirs. I mean, that is the way that they like to connect with their partner. Sometimes it's not always about the holding hands and that kind of thing. Some partners, like I said, for some reason, hormonally, that's just what comes about. The sex, of course, is the connection for them. So keep that in mind for those of you all who do have low sex drives. And just keep in mind that both people will feel levels of frustration. Low sex drive partners, of course, and I have been there with my partner in a relationship as well. Low sex drive partners would rather give up all sex and rather to continue to argue about the sex and be put down about not having sex and you don't want this and you cheat with me and all this kind of stuff. People who have low sex drives is always for a reason. Whether it's a health reason or a mental health reason or that kind of thing, it's not just because they don't want to have sex with you. Like I said, I have been there, and mine was actually from emotional. All the fighting and arguing and all that kind of stuff that was going on, I just shut down. I just couldn't deal with it anymore. I ended that relationship, but like I said, that's something that you have to decide, and I'll talk about that later on as well. Because of course, at some point, if you want to keep living in a situation where you all are constantly arguing and yelling and fighting over sex all the time, that's going to get draining for somebody who doesn't want sex like that. I guess I put it that way. Like I said, for the person who has the high sex drive, like I said, they can definitely take it personally, thinking that you don't want to have sex with them and something is wrong with them. So like I said, both people can get frustrated when the sexual libidos are definitely off. And it's definitely, I put down here that you have to find ways to, of course, compromise when you have libidos that's off, especially if you're not willing to end the relationship that you all have. Like I said, you have to compromise, negotiate, and figure out ways, communicate, and figure out ways that you all can, of course, mesh together and figure out which needs that you all can feel and how. And like I said, I'm going to go over some of those things now, some ways that some things that you all can think about when you're looking to, of course, work with your partner on these different sex drives and that kind of thing, and some things that and some of those hard questions you actually may have to ask yourself. Is this relationship worth it? So like I said, you definitely have to think about them things as well, especially if you're wanting happiness the way that you want your happiness. So you have to think about that. So the first thing I would say definitely is to make sure that you all discuss a menu of sex acts. Just keep in mind that sex does not always have to have penetration, vaginal and penile penetration. You can have all types of foreplay, all types of sex acts, I guess I put it that way, when it comes to like I said, foreplay, playing sex games, that kind of thing, or of course massages, like touches, hugging and kissing, or laying in the bed just cuddling each other, laying on top of each other. You don't always have to have sex. You can kiss to death, I guess I put it that way. You can have all kind of kisses and bodily kisses. Like I said, you can do all kind of things, but you don't have to always have sex. And I know that some folks always think that sex is this, and so you have to have sex all the time, and that's just what you want. But you have to realize at some point that you're going to possibly run into somebody who do not want sex like that. And if you love this person and want to be with this person, you have to figure out ways to, of course, have sex and have sex acts without, create your sexual environment without always having penetrative sex, y'all. And let me see. Just keep in mind that if the partner with the high sex drive wants more sex, and of course you can always add mutual masturbation or just masturbation period to the actual act. Like I said, the partner who doesn't like the sex that much can, of course, watch you masturbate and that kind of thing. Like I said, you can still get off, still have an orgasm, and still enjoy yourselves. Like I said, that may turn that person on. They may not just want to be penetrated, but or whatever the case may be, or penetrate someone else. But like I said, you can definitely include masturbation in that. There's no reason why you all cannot watch each other masturbate, or they can't masturbate you off, or lick your clit or lick your penis or whatever it is you're doing, especially if they want to do that but just doesn't want to have sex itself. So just keep that in mind. Sometimes that happens. Discuss what you two want out of the sexual encounter, and like I said, be respectful of the response and be respectful of each other. Like I said, just know that once you two get into the habit of talking about sex, it becomes a little bit easier to, of course, create these different sexual environments and these different sex acts and that kind of thing with the masturbation with each other, or single, I guess, by yourself, or even including sex toys, y'all. I didn't even mention that, but of course including sex toys. You can always, of course, if your partner has a lower sex drive than you, of course, maybe they want to use a sex toy on you, or maybe you want to use a sex toy in front of them and masturbate with it. Like I said, definitely use your mind and use your creativity when you're talking about having orgasms and talking about trying to, of course, still connect with your partner, of course, and your partner has a lower sex drive. They can still watch you and still enjoy. Like I said, you can always use your creativity and your imagination when it comes to these things. Number two, of course, you may need to rethink. I know a lot of folks don't want to hear this, but like I said, it's going to be some things that you have to ask those Ask those questions of yourself that you may not want to ask. I guess I put it that way. This next one is about rethinking monogamy. Sometimes, of course, we can get into our rut. It's just man and woman only, and there's only one person in the relationship only, that kind of thing. If your partner has a higher sex drive and you're not willing to, of course, split up, some people have rethought monogamy. Some people do go into polyamorous or polyamory relationships, that kind of thing. Some people do invite somebody else into their bedroom to have a threesome while the other partner watches and that kind of thing. And that's cuckolding. It's called cuckolding. Cuckolding is what the term is for some of those people. Or you can just call it threesomes, whatever you want to call it. But this is something that you all have to, of course, discuss and communicate about. It can't just be something that your partner just brings somebody home all of a sudden. You're like, what the hell, you cheating on me, and that kind of thing. What's going on with this? You all have to talk about these things and rethink your monogamous relationship if that's what you all have. Especially if you all have, one of you all have a high sex drive and the other person don't want sex at all. You have to do something. You have to think about these things. Like I said, if the other sex acts aren't working and that's not filling your needs and that kind of thing, you all may have to discuss that. I know some people are like, oh my God, you can't do this. We don't believe in non-monogamous relationships and that kind of thing. But let me just tell you, they are happening in this world, just to let you know. I'm going to read this to you. Many couples in the U.S. report that they're monogamous, despite the fact that many secretly seek out sexual adventures with others or cheat. So just keep that in mind, y'all. So at some point, you have to think about these things. You have to think about more creative ways that you and your partner's needs can be met. And, of course, making sure that you're communicating about these things. Now, if you are, of course, people who may not know how to go with, I guess, a non-monogamous relationship and need some assistance, like I said, I'm here to assist you with that as well. Or if you don't want me as your coach, you're going to find somebody else. As long as you all are talking about these things and getting some assistance, if you need that from an outside party, to, of course, work with you on these things about monogamy and all those kind of things when it comes to changing your lifestyle and thinking about other lifestyles, because there's a lot of communication to be had, y'all. And you also, like I said, you have to be very open with your communication and willing to even do something like that if you are rethinking monogamy. And also, as with any kind of lifestyle, I don't care if it's monogamy or non-monogamous, you definitely have to make sure that you're creating those boundaries so that you all know what you all want out of that relationship and what you all expect out of those acts. Number 3, use your sexual energy to create. And this is more for the high sex drive people. But if you have a high sex drive, of course, you can take all the energy that you have and make sure and start creating something. Whether you dance a lot, whether you like to paint art, or whether you like to bake or cook or that kind of thing, start creating how you can actually create a business out of that and create some extra, another stream of income as well. But like I said, you definitely have to, of course, working with this one, if you all want to stay together, this does deal with suppressing your sexual sex drive, just to let you know. It does deal with that. But like I said, suppressing your sexual energy and feelings into some type of activity or some type of hobby that you can do. Like I said, whether it's painting with art or that kind of thing, dancing, woodworking, exercising, that kind of thing. Like I said, I definitely don't want to see the sex drive and the mixed max sex libidos leading to, of course, anger and frustration and all those kind of things, which at some point it may. Yes, I'm not telling you that it won't, but yes, it definitely will. I mean, it definitely may. And it definitely can, of course, have arguments and all those types of things as well. But like I said, if you're to that point, you and your partner have to sit down and talk about these things. I keep saying that over and over again. Communication is key, y'all. And when you're having, of course, a high sex drive and you love your partner, you all don't want to break up and that kind of thing, and you don't want to invite anybody else to the bedroom, learn how to take that energy and create something with that. Create another business with that. Create, like I said, you want to dance. Go start going to a dancing class or teaching yourself dance or doing art or whatever it is to, of course, work off some of that sexual energy. Number 4, I know sometimes, like I said, I know some of these are going to be some things that you may need to think about heavily. But like I said before, considering ending the relationship. I know sometimes, of course, we just can't that's what I did with my relationship. Sometimes we just can't, of course, match the libidos. And sometimes things are too far gone, especially if it's emotional, the reason why you cannot bring yourself to have sex with your partner anymore, if it's an emotional thing going on. Mine was, we were, of course, we're not on the same page anymore. I was moving and evolving and moving forward, and he was stuck in the past and blaming me for sleeping with other people and doing all this stuff when I just did not want to have sex with him. I mean, I wasn't sleeping with anybody. I mean, it's just that I just wasn't, with all the arguing over time, all the lack of trust, all the lack of security that I had in this relationship, things just flatlined at some point. And we had been together 7.5, almost 8 years, y'all, before I actually ended things. So like I said, sometimes we have to think about that. if, like I said, especially if you're feeling pressured a lot to, of course, have sex, and it's always creating an argument, and this was every single day for us, I put it that way. And like I said, I just couldn't take it anymore. And I know there are some partners out there who may feel the same, and who may have thought about this but are scared to talk to their partner about it. If this is something that you're thinking about ending the relationship because you cannot live up to the sex needs of this partner, sometimes that may need to happen. Like I said, I know people may not want to hear that, but like I said, you definitely have to figure out what it is. What it is that will give you inner peace when it comes to your relationship. So like I said, there's lost love, there's lost respect, there's intimacy that's lost, and that kind of thing, and trust. Like I said, you definitely have to sit down with your partner. I know it's going to be a hard ass conversation to have, because I had to have that conversation. I know how I know how hard it is. So like I said, if you want to talk to me about this before you go talk to your partner, or if you all want to sit down with me and of course have a session so that we can talk about, like I said, if you all looking to end the relationship, or make sure that, I guess, in order to make sure that your partner's needs are met and that they're happy, and that yours is as well, like I said, that's definitely something that I'm willing to, of course, sit down with you with in a excuse me, in a coaching session. So like I said, definitely let me know. And like I said, if you all can do this on your own, then go ahead and do this on your own as well. If you need help, let me know. But like I said, you definitely have to make sure that you are considering all the aspects of the relationship, and all the aspects of things that you can include in the bedroom, or things that you can take away from the bedroom, whether that's I don't know, the sex, I guess, like the penetrative sex, but of course including more of the foreplay and the sex toy playing and that kind of thing. If you're into BDSM, maybe that's something that you all can get into the mood about. If you're the person who doesn't like to have sex a lot, that kind of thing, like I said, you can definitely set the mood with that. I guess I put it that way. If that's something that you all are interested in or even willing to do. But like I said, some of these things you definitely have to think about your relationship. Like I said, I know when it comes to different libidos and sex drives, like I said, it can definitely create an issue that you all do not want within the relationship. Sex, of course, is another way to connect. And some folks like sex a lot more than others. There's nothing you can do about that. But of course, make sure that you're getting with somebody who has a similar sex drive like you. If you're a low sex drive person, making sure that you're talking about these things way in the dating phase, early on in the dating phase, so that you won't have any kind of surprises that this folks like the person you're getting with like sex 14 times a day, and you're like, I don't like sex at all times a day. I only like it once a month, that kind of thing. You have to get with somebody that's more compatible with you sexually. If you're a person that has an open mind and love to bring other folks in the bedroom and sex toys and sex wings and all this kind of stuff, and your partner's like, I just want regular traditional missionary style, that's going to be a problem for y'all, especially if that person's not willing to, of course, do something different. So that's why I'm bringing y'all this video. Like I said, we definitely have a lot of reasons and a lot of things that go on to, of course, that creates a different sex drive in your partner. Like I said, it definitely can happen, and at some point it's going to happen with a lot of us. Usually men and women, especially when you're in a heterosexual relationship, it usually doesn't coincide where you all have the same exact sex drives every single time. Not even with any kind of LGBTQ, anything like that. Like I said, usually you and your partner would most times have a different sex drive, unless you all are communicating these things before you all even get together. But like I said, if you all are already together in a committed relationship, that is fine. You all just have to find ways to, of course, to negotiate, to figure out how you all can, of course, gel together to, of course, get things on the path where you all, where both of your needs are being met, and nobody's being pressured, and nobody's feeling like that they're taking things personal, that their partner doesn't love them because they don't want to have sex. Like I said, that's what this whole entire video was about. And like I said, if this is something that's going on inside your relationship, hopefully this video helped you all, of course, think about those things and talk about those things. And of course, like I said, helped you all negotiate those things. I know some of these things in this video that I talked about when it came to discussing the menu of the sex act, and coming up with your own menu, rethinking monogamy, using your sexual energy to create a hobby or another business, a stream of income, or just get the energy out. And also considering ending the relationship. I know some of you all may not want to hear that, but like I said, at some point you have to be truthful with yourself. That's why this coaching business is called Speak Your Truth. I help you, of course, I help inspire, educate, and empower you to speak your truth and be who you are within your relationship. That's what Speak Your Truth is based on. And like I said, I definitely don't want to see you unhappy in your relationship and you're feeling like your partner doesn't love you, because they don't want to connect with you in a sexual way. And are you the one who's feeling pressured all the time and having sex and getting yelled at because you feel like you don't want to have sex and your partner's mad at you and you're both frustrated? Like I said, hopefully this video has had you rethink some of those things. I don't want you out there arguing all the time. I've been like that. I've been like that in the last relationship that I had for most of those 7.5, almost 8 years. I know how in the hell that feels. And like I said, I know you don't want to have your self-esteem, your love, and all that kind of stuff just drained. You don't want to come home. You don't want to see your partner because you know it's going to end up in an argument before you all go to bed because you don't want to have sex. So like, and your other partner feeling like they're being mistreated or left out because you don't want to have sex with them. You think they may be ugly or whatever it is. We have all kind of stuff that go through our head, y'all. That's why this particular workshop and that's why this particular class about different libidos and different sex drive is greatly important. And if you want to look at this again, go ahead and look at this video again to make sure that you understand what I was saying in this video. And of course, then to take notes. And of course, if you're a couple, making sure that you're looking at this together, y'all, so that you all can, of course, start discussing these things. Yes, there are hard topics to discuss. That's why I offered. If you need to seek me out as far as a relationship coach, that I can work with these things on you all, just let me know. I'm definitely here to, of course, assist you all. Like I said, with that, I'm going to go ahead and get off here. I want to say thank you, and I'll see you all in the next video. Again, I'm Tonetta, your relationship coach at Speak Your Truth, where I help educate, inspire, and empower you to be who you are and to speak your truth within your relationship. So like I said, this video was talking about different sex drives, the higher sex drive, low sex drive couple, that kind of thing, and how you all can, of course, start working things out, and some of the things that you all may need to think about when it comes to your actual relationship and what you all may need to do, and like I said, consider or reconsider. I guess I put it that way as well. So with that, I want to say thank you all, and I will see you all in the next video. Take care.